We are real happy to talk to the head football coach at Ohio State, Ryan Day, who has just called in, and we'll be asking him about the new defensive staff and things like that. But Coach Day, I understand, first of all, thanks for joining us because I know it's a busy day for you. But number two, I understand your day started early. Some of the players were talking about mat drills this morning and that you were involved in it. Is Coach Mick easy on you, or does he crack the whip with you too?
No, anybody within earshot is liable to get ripped for not doing the right thing. So that started right from 5:55 in the team room. Really cool, though. I mean, our team had energy, from when they arrived at the locker room to all the way through the mat drills, and then at the end. It was probably one of the better mat drills I've been around, and a tribute to Mick and his staff.
You added right now, and I know can't talk about what you hope to come tonight, but you added one more player officially right now in Enoch Viamahi from Hawaii. Tell us a little bit about that and why it was important for you to add depth to that offensive line.
Yeah, so we were at 83, and so we had two spots left, and the focus is O-line. So getting Enoch to jump in the boat here was really big. And after signing day, it's hard because there's not a lot of guys left, after the first signing day.
Yep.
So, we had gotten a lot of great feedback from some of our committed families who were at the U.S. Army All-American game down in Texas about what a great player, more importantly, what a great kid and family the Viamahis were. And so, we jumped in with 2 feet and thought it would be a great fit. He came up with his mom and visited us, had a great visit. Coach Stud and I got on a plane and flew to Hawaii, spent some time at their high school, with David and Lori and Enoch. Got to know each other real well, shared some of our visions for Enoch at Ohio State, and then got on the plane that night and got a red eye back to Columbus. So that was crazy. But
so it's not
great.
like you could enjoy Hawaii. It was
that wasn't exactly it. No.
In and out
but the
business.
Cool thing about him was that there was connections to to some of the guys on our team.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the guys like Tommy Togiai and Haskell Garrett, Brandon Bowen. They had a lot of mutual friends, and so pretty cool connection there.
Hey, I want to ask you about obviously the quarterback depth. We had a chance today to hear from Justin Fields, who you add him. You lose Dwayne Haskins early to the NFL for a good reason because he's going to be the top quarterback taken in the draft. But you lose Tate Martell. Was losing Tate a surprise to you? And Justin Fields, what does he bring to the table? And also, let me add a third question. Do you need to add another quarterback?
So we always want to be at 4. And when Dwayne decided to leave, that was tough. We were really happy for him. It was one of those funny things down the stretch there in those last 3 games when I think he had 1,400 yards or whatever he had in those 3 games. It was one of those things every time he scored a touchdown, you're jumping up and down because you're fired up, but then at the same time you realize, oh boy, all the NFL guys are going to be coming over the walls for him. But happy for him. But that was a tough spot. This is a situation where we put some 2 years into him, and then we only get 1 year on the field with him. That's tough. And so, then you're kind of left with this void here for 2 years. And so then when Justin became available, we want to be at 4. We thought it was a great fit for a lot of reasons, and so we went ahead and that worked out. Again, we always want to be at 4. We're not right now. Whether we will be or not is kind of, it's kind of month to month, year to year. Mm-hmm. And so, but it's a sensitive situation. The quarterback situation is very, like I said, kind of year to year.
Visiting with Ryan Day, head football coach of the Buckeyes, Matt McCoy, and also Stan Jackson here, Coach, with a question.
Hey, Coach, appreciate you joining us. I've got 2 questions. My first is there a way that I could apply for the job where I can handle all your recruiting in Hawaii and you could avoid the red eye? I'd take care of that for you. But when it comes to quarterbacks,
I got a lot of resumes in there. You know what I mean? So a lot of people say, so you're going to have to do a good job with the interview.
Yeah, I can only imagine that would be a really good job.
Yeah.
But when it comes to quarterbacks, obviously under Coach Meyer, we had a certain type of quarterback. Coach Meyer was really blessed when he showed up. You had a guy like Braxton Miller here, more of a runner than a passer. You go on to J.T. Barrett. It ultimately ends up with Dwayne Haskins. Going forward, is there a certain type of quarterback that you're looking for that fits your system a little better?
I think when you look at the quarterbacks that Coach Meyer had, with Alex Smith and Chris Leak, and he coach is the one who recruited Dwayne. He also had different styles of quarterbacks. We want extraordinary traits for sure. Whatever that is. But that being said, we know in order to win the whole thing, you have to be able to throw the football. There's no getting around that. And you just look at the semifinals the last couple of years, the national championship games. In order to go win it, you got to be able to throw the ball, and we understand that. But that's just a part of it. There's so many other things that come with it: ability to run with your feet, great decision making, size. I mean, all these things come with it. But most important is leadership, toughness, and decision making.
You keep your offensive staff intact, so I'm wondering. It's been Coach Meyer's offense, and is it still the same kind of offense that you expect? Or like a lot of people said with Dwayne this last year, boy, that's a totally different offense. I don't feel like it was a different offense. It was you had a guy that could throw the football like Dwayne, and so that's what you featured. Is it still kind of like the Urban Meyer offense? Are you going to put your own wrinkles on it? What can Ohio State fans expect moving forward offensively from this team?
I think the thing that we all take pride in is the ability to adapt the offense to what the quarterback can do, and then what we have personnel-wise. And I think that we did a great job of that. In 2 years, the offense looked very different, and I'm assuming it's going to look very different this year with a new quarterback. And how it's going to look will kind of be dependent upon how things go this spring. And Matthew Baldwin and Justin and along with Chris will be up there battling it out, and whoever becomes a starter will kind of build around them. But again, it so much depends on what we have. And 2 years ago, when Urban, Kevin, and myself got together in that room, we had a lot of different ideas and put them together. And I thought, we ended up putting a great product on the field. And we're going to do the same thing now. With our offensive staff, there are a lot of great minds in that room. And I had Mike Yersich to the room. And I think it's a great think tank, and we'll continue to do that.
So, Coach, moving forward, I mean, obviously, the last 7 years under Coach Meyer, the recruiting has been stellar. What's the plan moving forward? Do you keep in place what you did under Coach Meyer? Are there significant changes that you're going to make in how you're recruiting kids, where they're coming from? A lot of times our fans get confused in regards to recruiting Ohio compared to recruiting the nation. So what's your philosophy there?
Well, it's like when Coach is here, but there's no question that Ohio is a major priority for us. And it's going to be a major priority for us. You can see even, in the first couple months, really tried to do that, get out there and really recruit the state hard, offer guys. We've got some guys committed. So I'm really excited about that. But then also, this is Ohio State, and we have a national brand. And you can go anywhere in the country, and people respect who you are, and they're interested in your school. So we get an opportunity to go recruit some of the best players in the country. Now, the good news is some of those are in the state of Ohio. And we're going to do, as good a job as anybody of evaluating them and then recruiting the kids in the state of Ohio. But again, we also have a chance to go recruit some of the best players in the country because we are Ohio State. And so we're going to do that because we're expected to win the whole thing. We want to win championships here, the Big Ten for sure, but then also for national championships. And in order to do that, you have to sign the best in the country.
So, Coach, have you learned that there's one particular thing that stands out for recruits? I mean, is it the fact that you play in the horseshoe, Ohio State's brand, the tradition, the history, winning games, Real Life Wednesday? Is there one thing in particular that stands out, or is each kid different when it comes to closing the deal and getting them to commit to Ohio State?
Yeah, great question. I think it's a little bit of everything you just said. There's so much that comes in. We think we have the most comprehensive program in college football from A to Z. But I think the thing that you notice the most is that you do not have to compromise at Ohio State. You can go recruit the best players, the best families, and the best students in America. And that's just a fact. And I think when you put the whole product together and what we do on the field, in the classroom, and then off the field with our Real Life Wednesday program, it's as good as anybody in the country. And I think families really enjoy that. I think the families that we've recruited, the culture there is strong, so there's a relationship they've built, but also the culture in our locker room. We got great kids here now. And so our biggest sales point is when our kids come here, they spend time with our players, and then they get to meet our families, and that's what seals the deal in the end.
Well, Ryan, I got to ask you, I mean, spring football it's always important. But for you, I mean, this is going to be your first spring football. Now, I know you took the team through camp last year, but it's your first spring football. You got a new defensive staff. You got a quarterback battle, new quarterbacks that are coming in with Justin Fields, Matthew Baldwin, a lot of new players. How important in your mind is this spring for you as you start building your program?
I mean, it's always important, but like you said, there's going to be some new guys in some new spots. The defensive staff will be putting together their kind of a scheme on the field, so they'll be implementing that, which will be all really, really important. So I think that's key. But the biggest thing about the spring to me is developing the individuals, and then as you get going into the preseason in the summer, you start to really build the team as a unit, in terms of the offense and defense. So we're really going to focus on fundamentals and techniques this spring. We're going to really work on building the relationships between the players and the coaches, because that is a huge part of this thing moving forward. And then as we get closer into the summer, we'll really start to spend a lot of time talking about the unit and then schematically where we're headed.
All right, before I let you go, I got to ask you about one question about Dwayne Haskins, and that is, and you mentioned what he did this year is abnormal. You talked about it at the press conference, to have a first-year starter throw 50 touchdown passes. So I know you probably thought he was good, but what surprised you most about his success this year? Like Stan and I always talked about, the 50 touchdowns is amazing, but for the amount you threw the football, he only threw 8 interceptions. Is there any one thing about Dwayne's season that exceeded your expectations even more than anything else?
Yeah, to say that I expected this would be a lie. I mean, there's no way that I think any of us expected this to happen this year. I think it's a tribute to the way the guys protected up front. I think it's a tribute to the way the receivers played as well. But you got to give credit to Dwayne. He stepped up and played really well, especially towards the end of the season. I thought he really stepped up in a big way, learned to be gritty, learned to be tough, took some shots in the pocket, ran the ball in that Maryland game at the end to go help us win the game. I thought he showed a lot of maturity right there. And I think he handled adversity well. I think, although we didn't have a ton of adversity on the field this year, you think about that Maryland game, that easily could have gone the other way.
Yep.
It didn't. He hung in there, won. At Penn State was tough. That wasn't easy. We're down on our 4-yard line coming out in a tough spot. We come back and win that game. So I think for a first-time starter, he showed a lot of grit.
Coach, last question, more of a big picture. I give you a quick story. My career best game in Ohio State was 1996 against Wisconsin, career best numbers. I came back into the game, and the crowd booed me. There are times where the crowd, our fans felt like as great as J.T. Barrett was, he should have been playing. Are you prepared now for this fan base and being the head man at Ohio State?
Yeah, and that's part of it. I coached in Philadelphia where, they won the Super Bowl, and then they celebrated in the first game of the year after they went 3-0. They started booing the offense. I've seen it all, and I know that's part of it. But the thing that I love about the Ohio State fan base is that they love their football. They love their team. They support them, and so we're gonna have good times. We're gonna have bad, but one thing for sure is these kids are gonna play hard. We're going to make the Ohio State fan base really proud by the way we play, and we're going to win a bunch of championships.
Yeah, well, it's not like you have a tough act to follow, Coach. He was only 83-9.
I tell myself I'm not even going to think about that. All you worry about is winning the first game next year and then go from there.
Very good. Hey, Coach Day, we really appreciate it. We know how busy you are, especially on a day like today. Thanks. You're always welcome on the show, and we appreciate you taking a few minutes for us.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a great day.